Om. 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 Om Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Today, chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, from Slokam 11 to 30, Atma Jnanam, knowledge of the self. About this. This is also called the weapon of self-knowledge, the boat of self-knowledge, and the fire of knowledge of self. It is very powerful. Om Tat Sat. This body is an instrument, a support, a prop. Hence, this body should not become a prison to the soul, which is dwelling inside the body. We should use this body like a boat to cross the river, public lake, to cross the ocean of life and death, and the cycle of births and deaths. నిష్కామ కర్మ ద్వారా ఆత్మను ప్రసన్నం చేసుకొనవచ్చును. నిష్కామ కర్మ చేసినవాడు యోగి అవుతాడు. యోగి అయినవాడు యోగారూఢుడు అవుతాడు. యోగారూఢునికి తన ఆత్మ మిత్రుడు. మిత్రుడికి భగవంతుడి సాక్షాత్కారం తప్పకుండా కలుగుతుంది. మీకు నాకు ఈ వీడియో చూస్తున్న వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా, ఈ భగవద్గీతలో ఉన్న ఆత్మజ్ఞానం వింటున్న వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా భగవంతుడి సాక్షాత్కారం తప్పకుండా కలుగుతుంది. భక్తి, జ్ఞానం, వైరాగ్యాలు ఎందుకు మార్గాలు. ఓం తత్సత్. చాప్టర్ 2:11 అశోచ్య నన్వశోచస్తం ప్రజ్ఞావాదాంచ భాససే గతాసు న గతాసూంచ నాను శోచంతి పండితః. The blessed Lord spoke, O Arjuna, you have mourned those that should not be mourned, and yet you speak words as if with wisdom. The wise do not mourn for the dead or for the living. You are allowing confusion to enter your mind when you think that you are the one who destroys and that those men are the one who perish. All this has existed from beginningless time. It is born and it dies according to its own nature. Tell me, then why should you grieve? It is ignorance that causes you to believe in this way. You pretend to be wise, and yet you do not give up your ignorance. O Arjuna, natve vaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipa na chevana bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. Truly, there was never a time when I was not, nor you, nor these lords of men, and neither there will be a time when we shall cease to be born, cease to be from this time onwards. You and I and these kings and all others such ideas that we remain forever or that we perish cannot remain when examined without confusion. The idea that things can be born or die is only an illusion. In reality, matter is self-matter. Self is indestructible. देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारो यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीर तत्र न मुह्यति. Just as in the body, childhood, adulthood and old age happen to an embodied being, so also he, the embodied being, acquires another body. The wise one is not deluded about this. Moreover, there is only one body that passes through all the different stages of life. Surely in this is evident. You experience childhood, then the adolescence. The childhood vanishes, yet the body does not perish with each stage. However, physical bodies eventually die. One who knows this is not disturbed by any grief arising from mental confusion. मात्रा स्पर्शादु कौंतेय शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखद आगमा पायना नित्य तान तितिक्षस्व भारत. Physical sensations truly Arjuna, causing cold and heat, pleasure or pain, come and go and are impermanent. So manage to endure them, Arjuna. Manage your physical sensations. A person fails to understand this because of the domination of the senses. The heart is in their power, and so it is confused. Objects are enjoyed, sense objects are enjoyed through the senses, and from the senses joy and grief arise. Because of this contact, the mind is plunged into confusion. The effect of sense objects are not uniform. Sometimes pain, sometimes pleasure arise. Both praise and blame are associated with the realm of words. When words are heard, they give rise to love and hate. Sense objects and their effects give pleasure and pain. For example, words sound praise, love. Words sound give blame, blame give hate. Touch gives softness, gives pleasure. Hard touch gives pain. Beautiful form delights us. Ugly form dislike us. Bad odor, satisfaction, fragrance, good fragrance, satisfaction, stench, bad smell, odor gives disgust, and tasty food gives likes, and distaste food gives dislike. The contact with the sense objects is therefore the cause of corruption. If one gives in to the desires of the senses, one feels heat and cold and is caught up in the pleasure and pain. For the senses, nothing is more attractive than the sense objects, but the true knowledge of these sense objects, like the water of a mirage, is the true nature of the sense object, or like an elephant seen in a dream. Like these, they are ephemeral, so reject them. Something that lasts for a very short time. Ashwadham, the sense objects are Ashwadham, impermanent, that lasts for very short time. So don't let yourself be affected by contact with them. Yam hi na vyadyanti yete purusham purushashavah samadukha sukham dhiram sa amrutattvaya kalpate. Indeed, the man whom these sensations do not afflict, O Arjuna, the wise one to whom happiness and unhappiness are the same, is ready for immortality. The person who is not bound by these objects is not affected by pleasure or pain, and for him there is no need for rebirth. You should understand that a person who does not fall into their power is truly immortal. Na asato vidite bhavo, na abhavo vidite sadha, ubhayorapi drushtavantah tvanevo tattvadarshibhi. It is found that the unreal has no being. It is found that there is no non-being of the real. The certainty of both these propositions is indeed surely seen by the perceivers of truth. Wise men understand this. Within this body dwells the same consciousness which pervades all things. Philosophers accept this. When milk is mixed with water, it becomes one with it. Still, it can be separated by royal swans. Through fire, the alloy mixed with the gold is burnt out, and those who have knowledge can extract the pure gold. When milk is churned by those who knew how, butter finally appears. When grain and chaff are winnowed together, the husks are blown away and the heavy grain is left. Similarly, when this is properly understood, the outer visible world vanishes, and for the wise only God remains, only the soul remains, only the self remains. only the self remains. They do not consider that impermanent things are real, for they have realized the truth. अविनाशी तु तद्विधि येन सर्वम idam tatam vinasam avyastasya na kachit kartum arhati. Know that by which all this universe is pervaded is indeed indestructible. No one is able to accomplish the destruction of the imperishable. Considering the real and the unreal, you will see that the unreal is illusory, while the real is eternal. That which has manifested the three worlds has neither name, color, form, nor sign. It is eternal. It is all pervasive. The real is eternal. The real is all pervasive. The real is beyond the reach of the birth and death. No one can ever destroy it, no matter how much he may try. अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्य उक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिना प्रमेयस्य तस्मात् युध्यस्व भारतः. These bodies inhabited by the eternal, the indestructible, the immeasurable embodied self are set to come to an end. Therefore fight, Arjuna. These bodies are set to come to an end. These bodies are inhabited by the eternal, indestructible and immeasurable embodied soul. O Arjuna, the soul principle, the embodied self, is eternal, indestructible and immeasurable. The bodies are destructible by nature. Therefore fight, Arjuna. The bodies are inhabited by the eternal soul. The bodies are set to come to an end. With pride in your form, having thought only of your body, you say, I am the killer and these are the ones who die. No. Ya yanam veti hantaram, ya chayanam manite hatam, ubhoto na vijanito, nayam hanti na hanyate. He who imagines this embodied self as the slayer, and he who imagines this embodied self the slain, neither of them understands this. The embodied self does not slay, nor is it slain. With pride in your form, having thought only of your body, you say, I am the killer and these are the ones who die. But you don't understand. O Arjuna, if you think in terms of reality, you are not the slayer, nor can these be slain. न जायते मृते व कदाचित नायम भूत्वा भविता वानभूया अजो नित्य शाश्वतायम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Neither is this the embodied self born, nor does it die at any time, nor having been will it again come not to be. Birthless, eternal, perpetual, primeval, it is not slain when the body is slain. Neither is this the embodied self born, nor does it die at any time, nor having been will it again come not to be. Whatever is seen here, seen in a dream, this life itself is a dream, appears to be real at the time, but when remembered or on waking, it has no reality. Similarly, know that this is an illusion, and your confusion therefore is vain. A shadow cut with weapon is not wounded. When a pot of water does not reflect the sun, when turned upside down, however, the sun is not destroyed with the reflection. When the house is torn down, the air inside the house resumes its natural form. The sky is never destroyed. Veda Avinashanam 21 sloka. Veda Avinashanam Nityam ya yenam ajam avyam katham sapursa partha kam khateti hantikam. He who knows this, that the indestructible soul, the eternal soul, the birthless soul, the imperishable soul, in what way does this man cause to be slain? Arjuna, whom does he slay? He who knows. Similarly, through the body, though the body may die, The self does not die. Therefore, O beloved Arjuna, do not cling to this delusion. वासांस जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरापराणि तथा शरीरानि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. As after casting away worn out garments, a man later takes new ones, so after casting away worn out bodies, the embodied self encounters other bodies, new ones. Just as a person puts on a new garment, in the same way the self takes on a new body. 23rd, na enam chindanti sastrani, na enam dahati pavakaha, na chenam klediyanti apaha, na shosheti martaha. Achedya madahyo, I am akledya ashojyevchaha, nitya sarvagata sthanuhu, achalaham sanataha. 23rd and 24th are taken together. Weapons do not pierce this embodied self. Fire does not burn this. Water does not wet this. Nor does the wind cause it to wither away. This embodied self cannot be pierced, cannot be burned, cannot be wetted, cannot be withered. This is eternal, all-pervading, fixed. This is unmoving and primeval. The embodied soul is eternal, pure, without beginning or without limitation. The embodied soul cannot be cut by any weapon. The embodied soul cannot be submerged by the final deluge, pralayam. The embodied soul can never be consumed by fire. And even the strongest winds cannot wither the embodied soul. O Arjuna, the embodied soul is not visible to the eye of reason, but meditation eagerly reaches out for it. This life is like a dream. A dream is real till you wake. When you are awake, you know it is false and fake. You cannot fell a body by striking at its shadow, and of the everlasting soul, the body is only a shadow. Think who you are, what you are, and now here up to what you are. It is that thing which wears the flesh, and bodies come and go. It is withering. This withering flesh is a sorrowful web that you must always know. Dreams are unreal, false and fake, and fantasies, and not true, and are only misleading the self. It's a dream world, unreal world. In a war, in my dream, I become a soldier of every kind, and when I woke, I realized that all this was in my mind. The world that is seen is also in the mind. Everything is in fact me in each and every kind. A beggar dreams and becomes a king in his dreams. Man imagines all these things in his mind. Brahma is real, not these things, nor these things are Brahmic things. What truth in a mirage can there be? The rays of the sun and the sun itself, can they be different? Everything hangs by me and nothing is else from me. The air and the sky, how and why can they be different? When the air comes to move and sings its tune, only then can they be different. The unity of this cosmos, ideas and imagination, negation or affirmation, disappearance and dissipation, such fascination. But once you realize what is real and what is not real, in this sea of contemplation, your participation like a little wave in the sea. In all these manifestations, you will experience a single amalgamation. Reality that is false and fake, dreams and beliefs that you make are gone when you are thus awake. How are you when dreams are made? When dreams are made, that secret I know. Further state, the wind not normally seen but felt by your skin is swallowed by the skin and goes to sleep, it seems. And thus waves disappear into the depth of the sea, like dreams drown in a mind woken up from sleep. It is Maya, my nature, within. It is her deed. Water touches the seed and outgrows a tree. This is the fashion by which the world comes to be. A man may walk miles in his dream, but how tired is he when he finally wakes from his dreams? Chapter 225. अव्यक्ता अयम अचिंत्या अयम अविकार्य अयम उच्यते तस्मात् एवं विदित्वा एनं न अनुशोचितुम् अर्हसि. न अनुशोचितुम् अर्हसि. It is said that this embodied soul is unmanifest, unthinkable, and unchanging. Therefore, having understood in this way, you should not mourn, Arjuna. It is said that this is unmanifest, unthinkable, and unchanging. Therefore, having understood in this way, you should not mourn. He, the embodied soul, is ever inaccessible to the mind, and he is not attainable by any special practices, O Arjuna. This Supreme Being is immeasurable. The embodied soul is everlasting, immovable, all pervasive, and eternally perfect. The embodied soul transcends the three qualities, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. The embodied soul is beyond form. The embodied soul is without source. The embodied soul is without change. The embodied soul is all pervasive. O Arjuna, know him this way and see him as the self of all, then all your grief will pass away. 26th sloka. Atacha yena nityajatam nityam va manise mritam tadapitva mahabaho na evam sochitum arhasi. And moreover, even if you think this to be eternally born or eternally dead, even then you should not mourn for this, Arjuna. And moreover, even if you don't believe this and think that the self is subjected to death and birth, and you should not grieve, O Arjuna, for birth, life, and dissolution follow one another in eternal progression, like the ceaseless flow of the river Ganges. At its source, it never fails. It is always flowing into the ocean, and in the middle of its course, it also flows continuously. It passes through these three stages in succession. River Ganga passes through these three stages in succession, and no creature can ever arrest its flow. Seeing that people are subject to birth and death, even then there is no cause for you to grieve, for birth and death are inevitable, O Arjuna. जातस्य ध्रुव मृत्यु ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मात् अपरिहार्य अर्धे न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. For the born, death is certain. For the dead, there is certainly birth. Therefore, for this, inevitable in consequence, you should not mourn. 27th sloka. For the born, death is certain. For the dead, there is certainly birth. Whatever is born dies, and what dies is born again. Like the wheels of a water clock, This cycle continues just as sunrise and sunset, morning and night, day and night follow each other. In this world, birth and death are certain. At the time of the great dissolution, even the three worlds perish. So, birth and death are inevitable. If you know this, then why do you grieve, O Arjuna? Knowing this, why should you profess ignorance? 28th श्लोका अव्यक्ताधीनि भूतानि व्यक्ति मध्यानि भारतः अव्यक्ता निधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना. Beings are such that their beginnings are unmanifest, their middles are manifest, and their ends are unmanifest again. What complaint can there be over this? O Arjuna, there is absolutely no reason for grief. All these beings are formless before birth. When born, they take an individual form. After the dissolution of their bodies, they do not exist separately, but revert to their original state. The life in between is like a dream to a sleeping person. It's a dream like a sleeping person. Likewise, the appearance of form in the self is due to the power of the cosmic illusion. The appearance of form in the self is due to the power of cosmic illusion. When these five Mahabhutas are getting together, joined together, united together, when water is agitated by the wind, it appears in the form of ripples. Gold is fashioned in the shape of ornaments according to a person's desire. Similarly, all that has form is the result of the illusion. Like the clouds which appear in the sky, you should realize this. Why then do you grieve for something that is not subject to birth? Consider instead the self which never fades away. Twenty-ninth sloka. Acharyavat pashyati kashidenam, acharyavat vadati tada eva chanya, acharyavat cha yenam anya shrunoti, shrutvapi yenam vedana chaiva kashyat. Someone perceives this as a wonder, another declares this as a wonder, still another hears of this as a wonder, but even having heard of this, no one knows it. Through the power of thought, they do not experience rebirth. Dehe nityam avadhyo, ayam dehe sarvasya bharata, tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam sostu marhasi. This, the embodied self, is eternally indestructible in the body of all, Arjuna. Therefore, you should not mourn for any being. Listen, O Arjuna, that which is everywhere and in everyone is the one life infusing the whole universe. Though it may be threatened, it cannot be killed. Because of the nature of this, everything is born and dies. Then what can cause you to grieve? O Arjuna, grief does not suit you. Om Tat Sat. Om. 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 Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanastu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti.